Hey everybody, we're back. And today we've got another all-new preview of All-American on this fine Tuesday. And today we'll be talking about something that definitely isn't necessarily one of the main things that you look out for when we watch, but it is something that could definitely make things interesting, in this case on the Beverly side of things. So without further ado, today we'll be discussing the love triangle we've got going on between JJ, Asher, and Vanessa. And before I kind of dive into my whole take on the situation, I would just like to say that you guys may certainly feel free to join in on the comments section, voice out your opinions, and as we always say, feel free to just go for it, with what you may want to see moving forward. And without any further ado, let's get this train rolling. So all right, okay, so we recently witnessed in the promo that we may see some action between the love triangle of JJ, Asher, and Vanessa. And, I didn't really dive into it too much in my previous video, which was the official synopsis breakdown of episode 9. So if you haven't seen that, feel free to check it out. But, anyways, I mostly didn't say much about this matter simply because I feel like there's a lot going on that was a little worth paying a little bit more attention to, but as for today, we'll kind of go over everything that I think might happen between them and how it may affect things. So, all right, going back to the promo now, to start it out, we see that it looks like Asher and Vanessa are clearly having an intimate moment, and as I mentioned in the synopsis breakdown, I wasn't entirely sure where or when it may have taken place, but, now that I have kind of gotten a closer look at it, I think it could very well be at like the homecoming dance or something like that, but I mostly just say this because it looks like Asher is wearing like a suit and tie and Vanessa is wearing a dress or something of that sort. So, I'm not really 100% sure that the homecoming dance will be in this next episode, but we'll just have to wait and see because if it is, I think we could definitely see some things go down. And this is kind of another thing, but in terms of Spencer and Olivia getting together, I could see it happening around the time of homecoming, which is part of the reason why I'm not sure if it'll happen in this next episode, just considering what Spencer and Olivia went through in the last one. So, anyways, afterwards in the promo, we see JJ yelling at Asher about how he just wanted to be with Vanessa the whole time, and he was just waiting to make his move. But I kind of said some of this stuff in the synopsis breakdown, but in a way I feel like JJ probably should have known that something like this might happen after he found out about their past back at the cabin, but it's like I still feel bad for him because JJ deserves someone who is genuine and kind, and as I've mentioned previously, out of everything that we see go on throughout this show, JJ is definitely kind of one of those, that much needed comic relief, So, I would definitely be happy to see him with someone, but, in a way, I'm kind of glad it might not be Vanessa because I feel like them being together would have caused just a lot of drama. But, let me know what you guys think, and I'll try my best to get back to you. I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys have to say about the situation, and it should be, as I've mentioned, it's not one of the main things you watch out for, but it's definitely something to look out for. So, all right, moving on now, we focus on what may be ahead if it turns out that there is some real beef between JJ and Asher, and I think this would definitely be interesting because I think there's a lot to think about. So, without further ado, let's hop right into it. So, for starters, I would kind of like to say that I think if Asher and Vanessa do get together, then JJ being mad at him for an extended period of time would be slightly surprising for me. And I mostly say this because I feel like JJ is the kind of person who's been able to get over these kind of misfortunes, on his behalf. It's kind of such as when he lost the QB1 battle to Jordan, but in this case, when there's a girl involved that he was interested in, then, I get it. I would be mad too. But in a way, I still feel like JJ will be able to forgive Asher and realize that Vanessa wasn't really the one for him, plus I don't know if it's just me, but Vanessa didn't really deserve JJ anyways. So, just let me know what you guys think about it. And, would you be surprised if JJ stays upset with Asher for a longer period of time? Or do you think he'll be able to get over it if it turns out that Asher and Vanessa are together? So it's definitely interesting, and I'm curious to hear what might go down if there is some real beef between them, because obviously they've been buds pretty much the entire duration of the show. So, all right, moving on to some other things that we could see ahead if it turns out that there is, some real beef between JJ and Asher. You definitely have to think about the football side of things, and I mostly say this because of who the coach is, and if this wasn't a factor, then okay, it would most likely come down to them figuring out their issues in a way that it at least wouldn't affect them on the field. But, now that you think about this, it definitely makes things interesting because, what are the odds that Coach Montez is aware of the drama that they've got going on between them and her own daughter, So, and if so, what are the odds that this drama kind of affects how Coach Montez uses them in the game, And it's definitely a lot to think about because who knows how much it affects the team. And, while Beverly doesn't have as much to lose as like Crenshaw does, they've obviously got a lot of things going on, but, it's still definitely something to think about. But, a couple other things that kind of come to mind is that I'm pretty sure Asher's still trying to get a scholarship to play after high school, right? I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but, if you guys could leave a comment down below to help me out with that, I'd really appreciate it. But anyways, I'm not really sure if JJ has a career in football beyond high school, but, if so, could this whole situation regarding he, Asher, Vanessa, and Coach Montez jeopardize those odds? It's definitely a lot to process, but, I think, once we might have some sort of clue of what's going on, we'll know what we have to worry about and what, we'll be able to move past. So I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys think about it. So just drop a comment down below, and, as always, I'll try my best to reply to you. And, let's just have a civil discussion about it. So, all right, moving on now. We'll talk about how I think the relationship between Vanessa and Asher might go if it turns out that they are actually together. And, obviously there's some big implications if they are indeed together, but, let's hop into some of them and what we would think if they were to go down. So, first of all, I think that this relationship wouldn't really surprise me all that much. I kind of mentioned this in the synopsis breakdown, but, I kind of said, I feel like they seem to think at this point that they're made for each other. So, I guess we'll just have to wait and see if it does work out, if they are actually together. But, otherwise, I think that there are some circumstances that come with them getting together at this point in time, mostly consisting of the fact that Asher just broke up with Olivia, a few episodes ago, and how this makes Vanessa look, considering the fact that she didn't have any interest in being the rebound girl, as she said to him that time when she asked him out to the movies. But, I feel like both Asher and Vanessa, and I kind of said this in my other video as well, but I feel like they both seem like the type of people that don't really have any regard for the circumstances because they think they'll be able to get through it. And, don't get me wrong, I don't think that they won't get through it if they are together, but I just think they're both the type that don't really think about stuff like that. So, just let me know what you guys think. And, if Asher and Vanessa do get together, what's kind of your guys' interpretation of that situation and, the other things that I mentioned there. So, I'm definitely curious to hear what you guys have to say. And, just be honest. Don't be afraid to speak your truths and, explain what you think this might lead to, or if it's good for them. So, all right. Okay, another thing that I would kind of like to talk about here in this episode that I didn't really mention in the synopsis breakdown is the fact that Coach Montez apparently gives Asher a tough choice about his football career. So, when I first heard this in the synopsis, I kind of thought to myself, this probably has something to do with what's going on between he and Vanessa. And, for the most part, I still think that it might have something to do with that. But, of course, all throughout, I wondered, okay, what might this tough choice actually be, and will he have to choose to either like keep playing football or give up on Vanessa or something like that? Or could it be something like, this is just a theory, but could Coach Montez tell him that if he and JJ can't get over everything they've gone through in regards to Vanessa, then he'll have to get kicked off the team or something? But now of course those two things that I mentioned there are just theories, and I could be way off on those, but those two that I mentioned, I feel like just make the most sense because Coach Montez is connected to that in a way as Vanessa's mom, and that could have something to do with why she gives Asher a tough choice about his football career. So, all in all, it's definitely interesting, and I'm kind of curious to hear what you guys think about it. What will this tough decision be that Asher has to make? And depending on how big this decision is, could it affect his future, So it's a lot to consider for sure, but, as I kind of mentioned, I have no idea if Asher still intends on going to school for football, because obviously we kind of got into that in the first couple seasons, with Asher trying to still get into school when he was kind of on that little downfall there, after his mom abandoned him and his dad ran out of money. So, it's definitely interesting. And, like I said, I don't know if JJ has a future in football. They haven't really got into that. Mostly just because, JJ isn't really one of the main characters in this show. But, it's definitely interesting. It's going to be a lot to unpack. And obviously, like I've always said, with everything else that goes on, it's not going to be top priority. But it should be good. It should be good. So, all right, and with that thought, I think we're just about to the point in this episode where I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about everything I discussed here today. And, like I always say, feel free to just go for it. I'm not going to call you out or anything if I think you're wrong in the comment section, Let's just have a civil discussion and why you think that might be the best way for things to be good in the long run, So, with that thought, thanks for watching. Feel free to like and share this video, and hit that subscribe button to help out the channel here. I definitely appreciate it. And also feel free to check out my new Instagram page. The link is in the description. And if you guys have anything that you would like to hear me talk about, just let me know, and I'll try my best to get working on it. There's definitely some things I can think of. I've already got a video for tomorrow, so you guys will just have to wait and see. But as always, this has been Austin Bielik, bringing you All-American videos daily while the series is on hiatus until April 12th, which is now less than 1 week away, everybody. We're almost there. We're about to find out everything next Monday, and it's gonna be action packed, with the way the promo looked. So it's definitely gonna be exciting, and I'm sure you guys are just as excited as I am for it. So, with that thought, have a good day, everybody, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.